Gym versus calisthenics. The choice might seem simple until you realize it could completely reshape your body, your mindset, and even your future. One gives you heavy weights, machines, and a structured path to hypertrophy. The other uses nothing but your own body to unlock incredible control, power, and resilience. But which one actually works better? Which one burns fat faster, builds more usable strength, fits into real life, and helps you stay injury-free for the long haul? This isn't just about preference, it's about choosing the training method that gives you the most return on your effort, time, and consistency. And the truth is, most people choose wrong. In today's video, we're putting gym training and calisthenics head-to-head across 6 crucial categories: fat burning potential, strength development, accessibility, impact on joints and recovery, cost, and the mindset each one creates. If you've ever felt stuck, wondering whether to commit to weights or master your own body weight, or if you've tried both but still don't know which one truly fits your lifestyle and goals, you're in the right place. By the end of this video, you won't just understand the difference. You'll know which one is built for the kind of results you want and how to start making progress immediately. So stay with me till the end. And if you're serious about building a strong, functional, and powerful body, not just for the mirror, but for life, make sure to subscribe. There's a lot more coming your way. Let's start with the biggest difference: how they train your body. In the gym, it's all about isolating muscle groups, one at a time. Calisthenics, that's a whole different game. It's built on full-body compound movements that demand coordination across multiple joints and muscles. And the philosophies couldn't be more different. The gym comes from a bodybuilding background, focused heavily on size and aesthetics. Calisthenics is older, more holistic. It trains muscle, sure, but also balance, control, and skill. First up, strength development. This is where things get heated. Gym lovers will argue it's superior, and they've got a point. Lifting weights gives you a clear, linear way to track progress. You simply add more plates to the bar over time. If you benched 44 pounds per side last month, and now you're pressing 49 with ease, you're stronger. No debate. This measurable progression works especially well for beginners and intermediate lifters. Now, calisthenics plays by different rules. Your body weight doesn't change much, so you scale difficulty by shifting leverage or upgrading the movement. Push-ups become archer push-ups, then clapping push-ups, then one-arm push-ups. When it comes to legs, the gym definitely has the upper hand. You can't match the overload of a heavy barbell squat with body weight alone. Even a pistol squat doesn't hit the same intensity as a loaded back squat. But upper body? That's calisthenics territory. Here's where it gets interesting. Gym training builds absolute strength, your ability to lift heavy objects. Calisthenics develops relative strength, your ability to master your own body weight. So while a lifter might bench more, a calisthenics athlete can pull off moves that seem impossible to most people. And according to studies, beginners can build strength equally well with either method during their first 6 to 12 months. The difference shows up later. Gym athletes tend to keep building maximum strength, while calisthenics athletes shift toward more complex, skill-heavy movements. Next, muscle growth and aesthetics. A lot of people assume that gym is the go-to for hypertrophy. But does that mean calisthenics falls short here? Let's rewind and look at what really drives muscle growth: mechanical tension, muscle damage, and metabolic stress. Both methods can deliver all three. They just do it differently. In the gym, it's simple to apply progressive overload to any muscle group. Want bigger shoulders? Increase the weight on your overhead press. Want bigger quads? Add more plates to your squat or leg press. In calisthenics, it's not always that easy, especially for certain muscles. Getting consistent overload without weights takes creativity and advanced variations. As mentioned earlier, training your legs with calisthenics alone makes it difficult to reach the same level of intensity as you can with added weights. That's one reason many pure calisthenics athletes have impressive upper bodies, but noticeably less leg development. On the flip side, take a look at Olympic gymnasts.
They primarily train using their own body weight, yet their physiques, especially their upper bodies, are incredibly developed. This highlights just how effective calisthenics can be when taken seriously. Each method tends to shape a different kind of physique. The gym allows for isolation training, which is great for targeting specific muscles, correcting imbalances, or bringing up weak points. Calisthenics, by contrast, naturally encourages a more balanced and functional build, where muscle size and strength grow in proportion. Another noticeable difference is in muscle density. Athletes who focus heavily on calisthenics often develop dense, sharply defined muscles, thanks to the constant tension and control their movements require. Meanwhile, gym-based training allows for more training volume on specific muscles, which can lead to larger overall muscle growth. There's also a common myth that you can't get big with calisthenics. That's simply not true. You can build impressive muscle, but there's a catch. Bodyweight training comes with built-in limits. If you gain too much size, certain advanced movements become harder or even impossible. So in a way, your body regulates its own growth to preserve performance. In the gym, this isn't an issue. You can keep adding size and strength without compromising your ability to train. For beginners or those who are overweight, calisthenics might feel harder to get into since even basic movements can be tough. The gym makes the entry point easier by letting you start with light loads and progress gradually. Next up is the physical impact, how each method affects your joints and body over time. This is crucial, especially if you're dealing with injuries or thinking about long-term health. In traditional gym training, especially with free weights, you're working with heavy external loads. A 330-pound squat, for example, places a lot of stress on your spine, hips, and knees. Done with proper form, it can strengthen those areas. But bad technique? That's a quick path to injury. Machines were designed in part to reduce this risk by locking you into a fixed range of motion. That can help with safety, but the downside is that those fixed patterns might not fit your body's natural movement, which can lead to discomfort or imbalance. Calisthenics generally puts less total load on the joints because you're only lifting your own body. But advanced moves with tough leverage can stress the wrists, elbows, and shoulders quite a bit. One major advantage, though, is proprioception, your body's ability to sense where it is in space. Since calisthenics constantly challenges your balance and control, it builds a strong connection between mind and muscle. This can reduce the risk of injury, not just in training, but in everyday life. Joint mobility is another area where calisthenics shines. Full-range movements are common in bodyweight training, which helps keep your joints flexible and functional. In contrast, gym-goers sometimes fall into the habit of doing partial reps, which over time can limit mobility.
In terms of cardio, both styles can be adjusted to be high or low intensity. But calisthenics makes it easier to include explosive, plyometric moves like jumps or fast-paced transitions, which naturally raise your heart rate. Finally, when it comes to connective tissues like tendons and ligaments, both methods help strengthen them over time. That said, the isometric holds and slow, controlled positions in calisthenics seem especially good for building tendon resilience, which may lower the risk of injuries in the long run. For older adults or anyone coming back from an injury, the gym often provides a safer, more gradual way to increase training intensity. You can start with very light loads and build up slowly, which is great for protecting joints and avoiding setbacks. Before we dive into the fourth factor, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Getting reliable, science-based advice consistently is key if you want to make real progress while staying healthy in the long run. Now let's talk about criterion number 4, calorie burning and weight loss. A lot of people assume the gym is better for burning calories, mostly because of treadmills, ellipticals, and cardio machines. But here's the truth. Calorie burn depends way more on your workout's intensity and duration than the method you choose. You can torch calories with calisthenics just as effectively, maybe even more if you push hard. Take a high-intensity calisthenics workout packed with exercises like burpees, jump squats, and mountain climbers. For someone weighing around 154 pounds, that can burn 600 to 900 calories per hour. Compare that to a typical gym session with moderate lifting and rest between sets, it usually burns 300 to 500 calories in the same time frame. Then there's the epoch effect.
excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. It's the extra calories your body burns after your workout is over. High-intensity sessions, whether gym-based or body weight, tend to boost this effect, keeping your metabolism elevated for hours. Calisthenics has a strong edge when it comes to flow. You can jump straight from one move to the next without waiting on machines or equipment. Picture a circuit of push-ups, squats, climbers, and abs with no breaks. Your heart rate spikes, and so does your calorie burn. The gym, on the other hand, lets you lift very heavy weights, which increases calorie expenditure during training and builds more muscle over time, helping you burn more at rest. But here's the underrated factor: consistency. The best method is the one you'll stick to. If the gym environment drains your motivation, but you enjoy training outdoors or at home, calisthenics might be your winning formula. And remember, no workout plan can beat a poor diet. Whether it's weights or body weight, you need proper nutrition to see lasting fat loss. Now on to criterion 5, accessibility and cost effectiveness. This is where the gap between gym and calisthenics really widens. Gyms come with obvious monthly fees, but there are hidden costs too, like commuting, gas, parking, and the time it takes to get there and back. For a lot of people, this adds up and becomes a burden.
Calisthenics, however, is incredibly low cost. At the most basic level, all you need is your body and some open space. If you want to invest a little more, gear like a pull-up bar, resistance bands, or gymnastic rings can set you up with a full home gym for less than 6 months of a typical gym membership. And in many cities, public parks already have calisthenics setups, making it completely free and accessible to just about anyone. That's a huge plus for people who can't afford regular gym fees. Time is another important factor. Gym sessions often come with travel time, which could mean adding an extra hour to your routine. With calisthenics, especially if you train at home or a local park, you cut that time drastically. Plus, you're not stuck with someone else's schedule. Calisthenics offers more flexibility. No gym hours, no waiting, just training when it fits your day. That said, the gym does have its own perks, like a controlled environment. You don't have to worry about rain, heat, or uneven ground. That consistency can help you stay on track, especially if you live somewhere with unpredictable weather. Another advantage of the gym is the wide range of equipment available, which allows for better adaptation if you have physical limitations. This makes it a more accessible option for people with special conditions or mobility issues. There's also the learning curve to consider. Most gyms include some level of professional guidance in the membership, which can be incredibly helpful for beginners who need structure. With calisthenics, however, you're often learning on your own. Unless you hire a coach or follow a specialized program, it takes time and research to get your technique right. Now for criterion number 6, psychological and motivational factors. This may be one of the most overlooked elements when comparing gym and calisthenics, but it can make or break your consistency. The gym offers a social atmosphere. For some, that shared energy is a big motivator. Seeing others train can push you to keep going. There's also the financial commitment. When you're paying for a membership, you're more likely to show up simply to avoid wasting your money. The gym environment provides structure and clarity. Machines are labeled with instructions, goals are easy to target, and trainers are often nearby to help. This can reduce the mental fatigue of figuring things out on your own. You just follow the plan and focus on the work. Calisthenics brings a very different mindset. You're not tied to a location or opening hours. It's all about freedom and self-discipline. You train because you choose to, not because a facility expects you to. That kind of internal motivation often leads to a deeper, more personal connection with fitness. There's also the satisfaction of skill building. Mastering a muscle-up or holding your first handstand feels like a real achievement, something that goes far beyond how you look or what the scale says. These goal-based challenges help sustain motivation over time. There's also a mental health bonus when training outdoors. Studies show that exercising in natural environments helps lower stress hormones like cortisol and boosts overall well-being. A morning workout in the park under real sunlight offers psychological benefits that no fluorescent-lit gym can match. That said, the gym can trigger anxiety for some people, especially beginners or those with low body confidence. The fear of being judged or watched while working out is real. Home-based calisthenics completely removes that pressure, offering a private, judgment-free space to build confidence at your own pace. So, which one should you choose? After breaking everything down, one thing is clear: there's no one-size-fits-all answer. The right choice depends entirely on your goals, preferences, and where you are in your fitness journey. If you're aiming for general conditioning or fat loss, calisthenics might be the better fit. It lets you build intense, full-body circuits without waiting on machines, and you can do it anywhere, making it easier to stay consistent. If your priority is building maximum strength, especially for heavy lifts like squats, deadlifts, and bench presses, the gym gives you the clearest path forward through progressive overload. Calisthenics is also a great complement, improving balance, core strength, and body control. For pure muscle development and aesthetics, a hybrid approach often delivers the best results. Use the gym to target and overload specific muscles, and calisthenics to develop density, mobility, and symmetry. If you're new and your focus is hypertrophy, starting with the gym may feel more approachable, with simpler progression and easier access to support. You can always weave in calisthenics as you gain strength and control. For older adults or those with medical concerns, it all comes down to personal needs and physical limitations. The gym's adjustable equipment can make it easier to stay within safe ranges and prevent injury. When done right, calisthenics can be a game changer for your balance and coordination, two things that become more important as you get older. It also helps with posture and easing chronic pain thanks to its focus on full body movements and the muscles that keep you stable. That said, the gym still has its place, especially when you need to target specific muscles with isolated exercises. If this caught your interest and you're curious about powerful isometric positions you can do right at home that can totally transform your body, there's a video popping up on your screen now. Make sure you check it out. That's it for today. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss out on new workouts and tips. Let's keep getting stronger together. See you in the next video.